The Olympics, a time for all the countries in the world to come together and compete to show true athletic excellence. We all know Shaun White and Michael Phelps, but most get lost in the shuffle. But this woman left her mark in history for the right and wrong reasons. Born on November 12, 1970, Tonya Maxine Harding grew up in a hard-working household. Her childhood was marked by financial hardship and reports of instability and alleged abuse, particularly from her mother, LaVonna Golden, who pushed her intensely in skating. Harding began skating at age 3 and showed unusual athleticism and power early on. However, her training was often inconsistent due to the financial strain. Unlike many elite skaters from affluent backgrounds, Harding relied on limited resources. Figure skating in the 1980s and 90s was perceived as an elite, polished sport. Harding emerged as a major American figure skater in the 1980s and early 90s. Her rough-edge persona, homemade costumes, set her apart from a sport that was normally dominated by middle and upper-class athletes. She won the 1991 U.S. Figure Skating Championship and placed second in the World's Championships. She was a 1992 and 1994 Olympian. At her peak, she was considered one of the most technically gifted female skaters, not just in the United States, but the world. Perhaps Harding's biggest triumph was that she was the first American woman to land a triple axel. Not only that, she was the first American woman to land 2 triple axels in one competition. But let's move on to the scandal. Enter Nancy Kerrigan. If Tonya was the gritty underdog, Nancy was the polished darling. The two came from completely different backgrounds and had very different financial situations. By 1994, the tension between their two worlds was a powder keg. On January 6, 1994, during the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in Detroit, Nancy Kerrigan, Harding's main rival, was attacked after practice. The assailant struck Kerrigan in the knee with a baton with the goal of keeping her from competing. Everyone watched in horror while Nancy screamed.
Why?
The attacker was later revealed as Shane Stant. Harding's ex-husband and her bodyguard later admitted to orchestrating the attack. Kerrigan was injured but recovered in time to compete in the 1994 Lillehammer Olympics. Now let's be real here. Can Tonya Harding's ex-husband and bodyguard hire a random guy to attack her all-time rival and biggest threat to keep her from competing and Tonya not know about it? During the 1994 Winter Olympics, the press coverage was unprecedented. Hundreds of reporters and cameras followed the two skaters' every move, particularly during their shared practice sessions. They portrayed Nancy Kerrigan as Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, while portraying Harding as the Wicked Witch of the West. Reporters leaned heavily into the working-class background, focusing on her homemade costumes and unconventional personal style as evidence of her being an outsider in the figure skating world. The media feeding frenzy led to several questionable practices, such as constant surveillance. Reporters followed the athletes relentlessly, with some even pressing their ears against doors to record private moments, such as when Harding suffered an asthma attack. The media also focused on ratings over accuracy, often reporting disingenuous information with no real facts backing their claims. Now, regardless of whether you supported Harding or not, the media tactics were extremely questionable. In my personal opinion, disgraceful. Taking somebody's background and outfits and making it entirely who they are is just wrong to me. Harding did a high-profile interview with Connie Chung on Eye to Eye, and it was used to further the narrative that she was aloof or difficult based on her nervous responses. The treatment of the two athletes was starkly polarized, creating a narrative that many analysts described as a morality play. Harding consistently denied knowing about the attack beforehand, but very little of the public believed her. Legal ramifications came, and she was charged with hindering prosecution and eventually pleaded guilty. Now, in my own opinion, I do think that Harding had something to do with it, and she may not have known the full extent that they were going to go. But there's just no possible way that someone can have two people that close to her set up something like that and not have even the slightest ounce of involvement. Harding was sentenced to 3 years probation, a $160,000 fine, and 500 hours of community service, while her ex-husband, Jeff Giululi, and her bodyguard, Sean Eckhart, were both charged with racketeering, conspiracy, and hindering prosecution. Both men served prison time for their role in the attack. Shane Stant pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit assault and served 18 months in prison. Now, still today, this is looked at as one of the biggest controversies in sports history, but many people say and argue that it was handled in a classless way. In June 1994, the U.S. Figure Skating Association stripped Harding of her 1994 U.S. Championship title and banned her for life from sanctioned events. This essentially ended her elite figure skating career at just the age of 23, and unlike many other Olympic athletes, she never benefited from endorsement deals or speaking circuits. The scandal made her commercially toxic for almost the rest of her career. Tonya tried to reignite her athletic career by breaking into boxing from 2000 to 2004, but it never really took off, and she was limited to undercards and celebrity-style events. However, this did reinforce her tough, working-class persona in a much more positive light, and in 2017, the movie, I, Tonya, came out, giving people a different view on her life and struggles growing up. Having seen the movie, I will say, as much as it humanizes Tonya, it by no means exonerates her. She was shown as a girl raised in poverty who was abused physically and emotionally all her life. It was a vicious cycle that followed her through all marriages and relationships in life, and is considered to be the main reason she was molded into someone who wanted winning and perfection at all costs. While she's not competing professionally or in major skating events now, there have been reports over the recent years of her occasionally skating recreationally or being involved in informal ice rink activities. In January 2025, Harding made headlines again by creating a public account on X, formerly Twitter, and posting a friendly video message to fans saying she was excited to reconnect. Her social media appearance drew a lot of reactions, both supportive and humorous, mainly because she's not been active in public life for many years. Harding is now in her mid-50s and living a relatively quiet life in the Pacific Northwest with her family. She's married to Joe Price, and they have a son together. In past years, she's spoken about enjoying the family life and daily routines outside of the public controversy. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed, please comment down below who you would like to see next. Click here for the first episode of Deep Dives, and click here for full episodes of Valley Sports Pod. Take care, flip that switch.